Hey there, I'm Josh Elledge, the Chief Executive Angel at SavingsAngel.com, and welcome to the Savings Angel Show. I'm podcasting to you from Orlando, Florida on a cool, crisp day. Now, I'm an extremely busy consumer expert, money-saving advocate, syndicated newspaper columnist, and that guy that turns digital entrepreneurs into media celebrities at UpMyInfluence.com. I love what I do and can't wait to get going on today's episode. So in order to help you save more, earn more, and live more abundantly on today's show, I'm going to be covering a lot of stuff. This is one for the record books. We're going to start off by talking about how to protect your information in 2019. We're going to talk about how to free yourself from college debt one splash at a time. We're going to talk about how you can score some freebies. And then finally, I'm going to share with you exactly what you should do to pay off any Christmas debt quickly. So with that, let's get going. Now, the sophistication of how criminals can get their hands, or rather their computers, onto your family's information is always evolving. That's why it's important to make cybersecurity a priority. Now, here are 11 tips on how to protect your information and family's finances in 2019. We're going to start by talking about protecting your information when you're at home. Number one, reboot your home router. Now, what this can do is clear out any potential malware that collects information. It's easy to do. Just unplug it, slowly count to 15, and plug it back in. Experts say it actually can help clear out some potential malware. Number two, update your devices and your internet security regularly. And do only this at home. Don't update on public Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fi can be hacked and you run the risk of updates not being as secure. Now, you can also end up downloading malicious additional hidden software along with the actual updates. Number three, take photos or scan your cards or IDs. Now, when you need copies of sensitive information, it's best not to use public or even work scanners or copiers. The reason is that information is stored electronically by the machines and it can be accessed later if the machine is ever sold or junked. Remember, information such as social security cards does not ever change. If you take photos, delete them as soon as you're done with what you needed them for. Number four, review and remove excess browser extensions on all devices. There's been some extensions in the news. Browser extensions can contain malicious add-ons, and you may have gotten them without even realizing it. Look through the extensions on your browsers, on your devices, and remove ones you haven't approved and or don't need. Number five, reset passwords to long cryptic passwords. The longer and more complicated your passwords are, the safer they are. You can either come up with your own or allow browsers like Google to suggest strong passwords. Now, it's best to change your passwords at home and avoid changing them on public Wi-Fi. My rule of thumb is when you're on public Wi-Fi, you may as well just publicly broadcast what you are doing on your computer on a big screen. I want you to think of it that way. So be very mindful about the activity that you do. Now, if you must do sensitive work on a public Wi-Fi, this is a no-brainer. We'll talk about this in just a moment, but make sure you're using a VPN. Very, very easy to do and get. Number six, set passwords or passcodes on your devices. Now, devices without any additional security measures just make it easier for thieves if your devices are stolen. Even though hackers would eventually get around screen security settings, given enough time, it adds a level of security against prying eyes if a device is only lost. Continuing on, let's talk about how to protect your information when you're out and about. Now, or as my Canadian friends would say, out in a boat. Number 7, use a security tether. Now, people have had thieves simply grab and walk off with their devices even while actively using them. Many laptops or other devices have the ability to attach a security tether, or you can figure out how to attach one to devices without the security slot needed for a security tether. Attach it to your device and around an immovable object like a table leg. Just search this up. Just search security tether in Amazon. You can find lots of different products to browse through. Number 8, connect through your phone to protect your information. Again, I don't know how many times I can say this. Wi-Fi is notoriously unsafe, public Wi-Fi. Use your phone's tethering or hotspot ability, especially when you need to access important documents or financial information. It's going to be a little bit more secure. Number 9, be picky about where you charge devices. I kid you not. Publicly accessible charging areas can be hacked. And when you plug in, data can be transferred through your cord, just like when you move data from your phone to your computer. Charge up at home or in your vehicle instead. Carrying a backup battery or power pack is also a really great idea. They're super cheap. Again, if you're not actively keeping a backup battery with you, you can buy, there's so many good ones on Amazon. You can read reviews. It's just great to have along. This ensures you're going to have enough juice until you're somewhere safe to recharge. Number 10, talked about this earlier. Run your access and work through a virtual private network, otherwise known as a VPN. This should be mandatory. Every computer that uses public Wi-Fi should have a VPN installed. If you've got it, but your family members don't, for your loved ones, please just go ahead and buy a VPN. Usually you can get it where it'll protect multiple devices. So you can add like 5 devices to an account. There's lots of great deals you can find on VPNs. Usually you can find something like $60 for life or something like that. Again, not very expensive. Honestly, it is just a mandatory service. If you have questions about this, just hit up Google and learn about a VPN. Maybe read some reviews, but it's just one of those things you should have. VPNs are designed to encrypt your information. So even if your device is stolen, it cannot be read. Many employers provide them for work devices, but they're also available for the average user through VPN providers. Again, when you're connecting over public Wi-Fi, it is going to help protect you as well. Number 11, don't leave your Wi-Fi switched on. When you're out, shut off your Wi-Fi access because others can detect your device even if you're not intending to connect to the open Wi-Fi around you. So all of these things are really, really great ideas. You know, we did a lot of research into finding out what security experts recommend for 2019, what we ought to be doing. Thieves are evolving. We need to evolve as well because evolving, staying safe is all a part of living abundantly. All right. And with us right now, we've got Stephen Musinski, who is the founder and CEO of Splash Financial. Stephen, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much, Josh. Excited to be talking with you.
Well, so you're in a really exciting space. And I say exciting because Splash Financial is doing a lot of good in the marketplace. And so amongst my personal finance advocate brothers and sisters, we really, really like what Splash Financial is doing. So can you kind of explain what is Splash Financial?
Splash, we're a student loan refinance company. And essentially what that means is more and more today, you're seeing people borrow for college to finance their education. And so when they graduate with most likely a lot of loans from either the government or private lenders, their rates tend to be high. When they go and they get a job, their risk is lower. And so we're a company that just can appropriately offer them loans at lower rates to help them save a lot of money. So as an example, someone that might have 8% when they borrowed for college, now that they're employed, they might be able to get a 5% loan from us. And just the difference in 3% could save someone thousands upon thousands of dollars. And it's completely free.
No kidding, it can. Obviously, at the beginning, you guys decided on Splash, which sounds like a cool name, but what went into that naming?
Well, so I personally have dealt with student loans. I have a lot of friends that have dealt with student loans, and there's a feeling like the student loans are a burden and they're holding you back. They're holding you back from pursuing your dreams, from pursuing a lot of things that you're doing, or they're just an overall weight on everything that you're doing. So the idea of Splash was that we're helping people get out of debt faster, allowing them to pursue their dreams and make a splash in the world. And so from that, we got Splash and Splash Financial.
Nice, nice. And so who would make a good candidate to check and see if they can do a little bit better with their student debt?
Yeah, I think anyone that has student loans really should check. I think that it's important whether you look at us or just Google and try to figure out, what could help you. I think a lot of people should check to see if they can get a better rate. So if you have a student loan, I'd highly advocate you just going online and checking your rate with Splash or anybody else. Now, going into specific types of categories, we have a great product for parents of children that are in college. Either maybe a parent co-signed on a loan, maybe a parent took out a Parent Plus loan. And we actually have a great way to help parents get off of those loans and refinance the loans into their child who may be doing incredibly well and parent might not want that. Or we have a way for parents to co-sign for their children on an application. And maybe you're just trying to help your child get the best rate possible. And so sometimes parents want to help out their children and do it for them, look into it for them. But either way, we'd say anyone that is involved in the student loan issue, we'd say go online and see what you could get and possibly save you some money.
So in terms of saving money, and as of when we're recording this, what do rates look like right now? And, given any closing costs that might be involved in that or refinancing costs, and maybe you can kind of explain that.
Sure.
What interest rates might someone look at and say, well, currently I'm at 6% or something like that? At what level would they say, oh boy, I really should be shopping around?
So first, the process is free. So we don't have any closing costs. We don't have any prepayment penalties. It's very different than what people have ingrained in their mind for a mortgage, where they're all
no kidding.
So there's zero. We make our money because we work with banks and credit unions. So we're constantly shopping to try to get the best rates from our partners to drive in sizable savings for our customers. So right now, our rates are as low as 3.75% fixed APR and 2.96% fixed variable. So now not everyone gets those rates. Those rates are obviously reserved for people with the best credit, and it depends on how long you want to pay back the loans. But overall, a lot of people that would borrow from us would get a rate in the 4s and the low 5s. There are a lot of parents that are sitting there with rates that are 8% for their children. There are a lot of people that went to graduate school that are sitting with 8%. There are a lot of people that borrow from the private market to finance their education at 8%. I'd say if you're at 8, it's a no-brainer. And quite frankly, if you're at anything over 6, I think it's a no-brainer to at least check. Not everyone would be able to offer you savings if you're at 6, but even lowering it from 6 to 5.5, if there are no costs associated with it, that's free money. So it's something that would be worthwhile to check out.
I'm a big fan of easy, simple savings, automatic savings, where just by doing a little bit of research, you found a way to save yourself $50, $100 or so a month. So what kind of numbers do you think over the lifetime of, say, a typical loan, do you think someone could actually pocket if they were to experience a drop in their interest rate?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We have an example on our site right now. We've had people that have refinanced with us and they saved $40,000, $50,000. Obviously, they have higher loan balances. And, we work with a lot of doctors. It's amazing. Doctors have over $200,000 in debt on average.
Yeah.
So, but the average person tends to have a little bit lower. Say if you had like a $100,000 loan and you're able to lower your rate from about 6% to 3.75%, we could save that person. I think we're looking at a little over $20,000 in savings for that person. The savings, obviously, they vary by what your specific example is, but we do have a great calculator tool on our site. And within 3 minutes, somebody can check their rate and we give them an exact rate quote where we work with the credit bureaus to determine what your rate will be. And you can put in how much loans you have, and we'll actually show you how much money you could save what your rates would be. And even if, maybe we're not offering you the best rate and we're very transparent, we'll show you if it's going to lose you money. So we're not really trying to play any games. We either can save you money or we can't. We are able to help a lot of people. And so within just a couple minutes, you can see that directly on splashfinancial.com.
That's great. So we've set up a link, and that link is at savingsangel.com/splash. When you click on that, not only are you going to get access to the calculator that, Steve, that you just talked about, but what else will people be able to have access to when they look at all the tools and resources that are available through Splash?
So definitely go to the Savings Angel link. When you're going through that process, we've really streamlined our technology, and we're investing more and more into that every day. I think a lot of people realize that banking is evolving, and a lot of the banks, because of companies like Splash and others that are investing in technology, are really trying to invest in it as well. What we're working on right now is an application process that takes minutes for you to apply. We're constantly working on a streamlined automated process to minimize the amount of paperwork that people need to submit. But we have a concierge service team. So, definitely go to the Savings Angel link. When you submit your rate check, you're going to go through in just a couple minutes, you'll see your rate. You have access to our concierge team either through text or through email or just calling, and they'll be able to walk you through any questions that you may have. They're trained in student loans, and so we don't push this product on anyone. If you just have questions about maybe you're on a government program and you just want to try to figure out how can I reduce my government payment, our folks are trained to help you with that as well, even if it's not going through Splash. But that's really what you're gaining access to.
And I think you may have mentioned this already, but of the options for student loan refinancing, what makes Splash unique in the world?
What makes us unique is our dedication to working with banks and credit unions. Because we're doing that, if you think about buying power in the market, we're able to go out and negotiate deals with hundreds of millions of capital. And so because of that, we can get better rates than people can get sort of going to their institution by themselves. And so we partner with these banks and credit unions. We're constantly negotiating the best rates. And because we're working with them, we're setting up a very streamlined process to facilitate the loan directly to them. And people can get the best rates going through Splash Financial. Now, obviously, all of our competitors, you're never going to be the best rate for everyone. So we definitely encourage just rate shopping. The goal is to help people save money, but we have a great process. We have great customer experience folks, concierge service team, and great technology to help get people through the application as fast as possible.
Yeah. In the student loan or the student debt world, are there things that are going on in the industry that you're kind of a champion against, like you're not real happy with, or maybe things that are happening to consumers that you think really need to change?
There are a lot of them. Student loans, I was just having a discussion with another company, a startup company, and the education finance space is one of the most inefficient systems I think that's ever been created. Now, because of that, there are companies like us that really are solving one of the problems, but I personally think the cost of college is really going up at a level that just isn't sustainable. I wish there was something that our company could do to help curb the cost. When you're looking at just finance overall, we don't charge an origination fee. The process is completely free to get a loan. But what we don't understand is why the government charges an origination fee for consumers. Why, when you take out the loan to begin with, the government is charging 3-4% for people right up front, added directly on top of the loan. And so there are things like that just, we have a broken system, and we're one company trying to fix one element of it. But yeah, there are things that we struggle with in looking at the market. Our goal is just to make a product that's as easy as it can be for the customer, the most savings it can be for the customer, and go from there. But can't solve all inefficiencies at once just because of the challenges in the market.
So just to underline this, there's no fee for checking your rate. There's no hit to your credit score, right?
Yeah, not our rate check in 3 minutes is what's called a soft pull. So it doesn't have any inquiry on your report, will not impact your credit score one bit.
Love it. I love it. And that link is savingsangel.com/splash. And that will let the fine folks over, Steve and others over at Splash, know that you heard about them through Savings Angel, which we appreciate. Steve, thank you so much for the work that you guys are doing. Obviously, you're very, very well liked among other personal finance advocates like myself, looking to make improvements to, as you illustrated, some broken systems out there, and really helping with the student loan crisis that exists. And I know the student loans can be very painful for a lot of people. So I'm thrilled that we may have just introduced many more people now to a way that they could save an extra $100, $200, $300 or more every single month from their student loan payment. So thank you so much for sharing all that you have. And I'm very, very excited to have made some introductions.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. And thanks for everything that you guys are doing as well to help people save money just across all aspects of life. I think it's fantastic, and we're glad to be featured and be helping some of your followers and readers and viewers just reduce the burden that loans are causing in their life. So thanks so much, Josh.
I love it. Steve Muszynski, you are the founder and CEO of Splash Financial. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great, thanks.
All right, now on the line with us right now, we actually have Joy from Chicago. Joy, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I feel like I'm doing a radio talk show right now, and you're a caller. So I understand that you used Splash. How did that go? First off, can you explain why? Why were you looking to redo your student debt?
So I went to law school, and I had a little over 30 grand left to pay on my loan. I felt like I really wasn't even making a dent in it just because my rates were so high. So I heard about Splash through a friend, and I heard that the rates were much better. So I decided to kind of take a look and check it out just so I could pay my loan off as quickly as possible. It was starting to hurt, having that big chunk of money taken from my paychecks every month, and just kind of get my life started and not have to worry about having that loan anymore.
That's got to feel really frustrating when you're looking at this big amount that's owed and you're paying and paying and paying. And it's like, it's really not moving. It's not budging much.
Exactly. Or it's growing.
So do you have an idea of kind of the rough numbers of what happened when you looked at what Splash had to offer?
Yes. My rates went down a little over 2%, which was awesome. My monthly payments only went up a few dollars, like $10 or something. And I'm actually going to be able to pay off my loan over a year earlier than I would have. So
that's wonderful. So you think of like that extra year of not having to make those payments. Do you have any plans for that money?
Well, me and my husband are starting a family. So obviously just even having that money in the bank would be awesome. And maybe a vacation, who knows?
I love it. What was the experience like in terms of actually applying through Splash? I mean, do you kind of remember how that worked out?
Sure. Yeah, it was pretty simple. I talked to a representative there who walked me through the entire process. So I definitely didn't feel like I was confused or alone through any step of the process, which was great. And it was just a matter of paperwork, really, and getting all my documents together to get approved. And that was the worst part for me because living in Chicago now, all of my stuff is actually where I grew up, which is not here. And I had to get my mom to send me some pictures of my diploma and things like that. So it took a little longer than I would have liked, but on the end of Splash, they did a great job communicating and being patient with me and just making sure everything went smoothly.
That's fantastic. So if you had a friend that was kind of in your similar situation, what would be your recommendation to them?
Oh, I already have told some of my friends that they should look into it, especially coming out of law school. And my sister's actually a physician as well. It's, I know a lot of people that are buried in their student debt, and it's really frustrating for all of us. So I've already told some people to definitely look into it and see if they have any options like I did to get a lower rate and maybe pay their loan off quicker. So I would definitely recommend the process.
Joy from Chicago, thank you so much for sharing your experience with Splash Financial.
No problem. Thank you. Have a good one.
Do you have the post-holiday budget blues? Have you spent more than you intended to? What if I could introduce you to an easy way to score free samples and extra coupons on items you're already buying? I want you to take a look at SwagBucks.com. It's a free site, free app, free browser extension, and it gives you cash and gift cards for the things you're already doing every day. You could shop online, watch entertaining videos, search the web and answer surveys. This company, I've been using them for years. It pays you in points if you do these things that you're already doing. These points you can then use for gift cards. I get gift cards frequently, as I usually cash them in on like iTunes or Regal or something like that. Amazon you could do as well. And you can even earn points with things like Groupon or travel sites like Priceline or Expedia. Again, if you're shopping at Groupon, Priceline, or Expedia and you're not using SwagBucks, you're leaving money on the table. You go get your coupon codes, use your coupon codes, but there's even more savings you can have if you're using SwagBucks. So you want to go to swagbucks.com/savingsangel to sign up today. That lets SwagBucks know where you heard about them and that you are a force to be reckoned with because you are part of the Savings Angel revolution. So let's talk about 6 ways to quickly pay off your Christmas gift debt. Now, the presents have all been opened, the memories have been created, and the bills for many of us are coming due. If you put your purchases on a credit card, which I'm not opposed to, if you can pay this off quickly. Now, whether you didn't budget well or the excitement of the season led to a bit of overspending, you're going to need some extra cash and fast, especially if you want to avoid paying any interest on your purchases, which I'm not a fan of interest. So it's time to get some serious work done. And here are 6 ways that you could quickly pay off your Christmas gift debt. I've got some ways that you can get money, like more money, so we can get that done. You ready? Number 1, you can rent out your car. If you have an extra vehicle you don't need, or it's sitting in the driveway, just kind of collecting dust, and you'd like it to earn some money for you, you could consider temporarily renting it out. Now, you could either rent it to someone you know who needs a vehicle for a short while, or you could use a matching service like hirecar.com. That's HYRE car.com. Just make sure you're charging enough. You have to cover maintenance, wear and tear, and insurance, and still make some money. Otherwise, it's not worth it, obviously. Hire Car matches Uber and Lyft drivers to available vehicles in their area. They drive your vehicle and you both earn because the driver is responsible to pay you a rental fee. Now, before agreeing to rent to anyone, however, take care to check them out thoroughly. A good match should turn into a longer-term arrangement, and you could net a nice chunk of change by the end of January. Number 2, consign or sell online. I like this. Now that all the new stuff has come into the house, it's time to weed out the old and get some money for it. Consignment is a great way to make money fast with less effort. With consignment, however, you'll only get a percentage of the sale price. The upside is that consignment shops typically sell things for more than you might be able to get on your own. On the other hand, you might make more selling things yourself because you don't have to split the sale with anyone. And you could work through online sales groups like those popular on Facebook. Now, of course, the downside to this route is that you're going to need to arrange to meet with people as well as back and forth communication to set up meeting times and places. So be sure you're factoring in your time and gas as well. Either way you go, it's a great way to make money very quickly while lessening the number of items you're caring for at your house. Number 3, eat more simply in January. Now, you can get your hands on more cash than you might imagine just by choosing to eat more simply throughout January. Why? You're going to save on groceries And most importantly, I'd really love for you to skip eating out, which is insanely expensive for most of us compared to if you just make your own food. Eating more simply could mean deciding that dinner is a classic and cheap tomato soup and grilled cheese instead of steak and potatoes. Now, it could mean choosing a smaller burger with fewer toppings from the dollar choices at the local drive-thru instead of the $3.99 deluxe with bacon cheeseburger. No matter how you do it, just remember, the more simple the fare, generally, the less expensive it is. Every small choice of simple means dollars towards debt. Take the savings you've created through simplicity and put it all toward paying off your Christmas gift debt. Again, we don't want to pay interest. And when you make a choice like this is less interest you have to pay. If you want to bust your budget and spend more money on eating out, well, again, just imagine that you're paying interest on that stuff because you're not applying it toward the debt. Number 4, sign up to be on call at places you're qualified or add yourself to the overtime list. January is a month when absences abound for a number of reasons, leaving businesses in a bind, some of which cannot run without enough people. A few examples are schools like lunchroom help or teachers' aides, hospitals, such as nurses, and offices who need receptionists or customer service. If you have the skill set and experience, you can sign up to be on their call-in list. You won't always know when you'll work, and often you'll be called on short notice. However, even a few shifts could make a big difference in your January income. Alternatively, you can sign up to be on the overtime shift pickup list where you work. Just tell people you're looking for extra hours. Number 5, you can pet or house sit. I've got Levi, my mini Australian Shepherd, sitting right next to me right now while I'm recording, and his ears just perked up. Now, you can offer your services to people taking vacations in January. Now, this is often best accomplished by word of mouth, so let others know you're available. Maybe just tell your Facebook friends. Many people feel much better having their pet looked after in their home rather than boarding them up. And there's a comfort in knowing that someone is making your house look lived in by keeping the driveway clear of snow, taking in the mail, and turning lights on and off, not to mention watering any indoor plants. And finally, number 6, for those of you up north, you could shovel snow. Most people hate snow removal and will gladly pay reasonable rates during the coldest months. It's hard work, but it's only temporary. And the upside, you'll burn some extra calories while you burn through your Christmas gift debt. And paying off debt is absolutely part of living abundantly. Now, if you've loved hearing everything on this podcast, could you take a second and leave a 5-star review in podcasts, your Apple Podcast player? Give me a thumbs up, give me a heart, hit that share button and share it with friends. I promise I'm going to make you look good. And they're going to say, thank you so much. I got some really great ideas, and now I'm going to save an extra $200. I'm going to maybe pay off an extra $200 off my credit card debt, and they will have you to thank because you're sharing this message of abundance with them. And as always, if you have any specific questions or there's something you'd like to hear me talk about, you could drop us a comment in the podcast feedback. Write me on our Facebook group. Just search Savings Angel in Facebook, or you can call our podcast hotline at 407-205-9250 and leave me a message. I will answer your question, write you back, or with your permission, I might even share your question or story with others on the show. With that, have a wonderful week full of saving more, earning more, and living more abundantly. And thank you for listening. Levi, you want to go for a walk?